environmental pollution should be controlled, then we need to commend the federal government. And they are telling you that we are not going to do it all alone. It's not that we don't have Ministry of Environment. It's not that we don't have Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. It's not that we don't have those that will work in that regard in the government sector. But we need to look outside the public sector and try to bring the fresh blood coming from the private sector to come and exchange notes and try to collaborate. Of course, like Tinubu said, their hands in the pocket of the federal government and finances. These people will have to go and look for money to ensure that we go green, and we ensure this is a very good one. We need to commend them for what they are doing. The only thing is that they are at the formation level, because now you've seen that they have rolled out what they want to do, and in public policy analysis we have different stages. The first stage is when you formulate idea or formulate policy. The second stage is when you are implementing and criticize them, the operation, so that they will do better. We have gone far the era that people will close mouth and not criticizing their government. This is time to criticize them and tell them what they are doing is wrong, or and commend them when they are doing things that are very.
That is why sometimes they call for constructive criticism.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right. So I we may not accept 100,000 naira, says organized labor. This is a story coming from the Vanguard newspaper. Where the writer tells federal government to break down whatever amount it wants to pay. The organized labor has told the government to perish any idea of also the government to be serious with the negotiations on the issue of workers' wages, insisting that it used the lowest minimum in arriving at the 615,000 naira as new minimum wage. What's your take on this? How feasible is this?
If you look at the what laborers are actually fighting for, considering the level of inflation that we have at this point, one would say that it's justifiable, and one would say that even they can even get more than 650,000, even if they channel their complaints and they try to get who that matter to help them get this thing done. But if you look at what is happening in Nigeria, it is not real. It's not realistic. It's not feasible for us to have even 100,000 naira as minimum wage. I will explain now.
Okay.
In the last 15 years, Nigeria has been running more than 65 to 70% as recurrent expenditure. So we are left with less than 25% for capital project, for capital expenditure in our budget across Nigeria. Majorly federal government, which is the class captain. Now, if you are looking at that, the salaries, wage and salary, out of that 65, 70% is taking more than 50%. So if the wage and salary with term in economics, it's a deadweight debt, because it's not reproductive. You don't get anything except to pay the salary because workers have contributed to development, and you need to pay them, and for them to go and eat, for them to go and buy whatever they need and all that. So it goes and goes like that. You are not reinvesting back into the economy with the recurrent expenditure. And if labor are now asking for more money, what it means is that we're going to have like 90 to 95% recurrent expenditure, and we'll be left with less than 10% for capital projects. So in such economy, there will be more of pains, there will be more of suffering, because there won't be more money to do road if the road is not good. There won't be money to construct rail if the rail is not connecting Nigeria. There won't be money to do health facility. There won't be money to do education. There won't be money to do a lot of things that are capital project based. So we need to look at the way to be in the middle, to shift a grant, and let the federal government also and the state government shift a grant. For them to do that, I think labor should also request for reductions in their take homes. Labor should also request for reductions in what they spend as the people that are in the offices. So I think for us to go forward or to move forward, we need to shift grant. Government shift grant a bit, and labor shift the ground a bit. When you are now saying you have to get 615 naira by fire by force, this is never realistic. This is never feasible with this economy that we are running. It means that you don't want government to do anything again except to be paying the labor wage and salary, and that is what it means. So we need to really be very, very effective and very realistic with our demand at times. Labor at this point, because I'm part of them, I'm also working. We are not getting it wrong, right. We are getting it wrongly at this point. It is, we must not be acting for such. If we need to do due diligence, let's go and find out how much money Ogun State is in terms of revenue. Even if people at the corner of our does not tell us, do not tell us what they are making. Let's know how much money Nigeria is making on monthly and annual basis before we now be demanding all this. But we are very lazy as a labor to get all this information and try to tell the whole world what we find out before we now demand. But we are only demanding without a corresponding investigation to tell us how much money all these governments are making for us to demand.
But Rasaq, on the contrary, what comes to the mind of the labor is that when they were presenting the 615,000 naira as minimum wage, they put it to the government that, okay, your own 48,000 naira. Do you have a statistics of how you came about the 48,000 naira? Even the 100,000 naira, they are telling the federal government that if they are going to go to that meeting tomorrow, they should give a breakdown of how they arrived at that 100,000 naira. And then they believe that these state executives are being supported with some substantial amount of money to cushion the effect of the subsidy. And looking at some other states that they've actually upped the ante, take a look at Edo State, increasing the minimum wage to 70,000 naira.
Yeah, that's it.
70,000 naira. We have some states regularly paying 35,000 naira, and we have some states that are also trying their best, lifting their weight in one way or the other. You understand? But looking at this, do you think the state of the economy, how much you buy our things in the society, and vis-a-vis this money that they will be paid, do you think there is any contrast in what the labor is actually proposing?
That's what I told you earlier on, that the two of them must shift ground. The government and the labor must shift ground. If you look at what the government, no government, I repeat, no government will tell you how much they are making, because they need to do a lot of things with it. And even if they are telling you, they are telling you on paper. It is now left for the labor who are working with them. After all, part of the labor is Akara General, who is in charge of the finance of the state government. Part of the labor are those that are working in finances, who should ordinarily give you all those information that will guide you properly to determine and demand the right the right minimum wage. I repeat it. Labor at this point, we are being lazy by not investigating and getting the right figure of how much money, how much resources a state has, how much resources the federal government has, before we now demand 615,000 naira. If you look at how many workers that are at the federal level, they are millions. If you look at Ogun State, for instance, at the time the first government was leaving, we were told that 9.1 billion is the wage bill of Ogun State on monthly basis. So how much is Ogun State making, if you are to put it face to face in terms of revenue, for you now to demand 715,000 naira from Ogun State government? So it's not feasible, it's not realistic. We need to go and put our house in order as a labor and get all these facts right before we now hold these people by our jugular. Don't forget, if you don't get our figures right, they will play on our intelligence.
So that the federal government or the state government won't be saying, by the time we call them and say, oh, we need you to construct roads, and then they'll say, sorry, we had to pay you 615, and so we can't get it done.
That's what I said earlier on, that if you allow that to be done, a lot of things will suffer. The best thing is for both of them to shift ground. Let the government be truthful, and let labor be very effective by getting to us what the government is making, what are the resources we have in the states for them to determine and demand what they are demanding.
Now, Rasaq, in the meantime, as the federal government and the organized labor resumed dialogue this week over the new national minimum wage, the Archbishop Metropolitan and the Primate of All Nigeria Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Dr. Henry Ndukuba, has called for a common ground to be reached to avert the looming crisis in the country. Razak, win-win from the side of the government and from the side of the labor.
That's why I told you they must shift ground. That is what you just read. We must use a common ground. Both sides. We're talking about government now. That's state government, federal government, and local government. Central and local government. They are one side. Labor is another side. So let's look at what is for instance, what are resources and allocations that are being given to Abeokuta South for you to now tell us how much they are going to pay their staff at Abeokuta South or Imekwafo. How much money is Ogun State making in terms of IGR, in terms of federal allocation, that's FAC? How much are they making? You need to get all these things side by side for you this will guide you, properly guide you to know how much you want to demand in the case of Ogun State. In the case of federal government, this will also guide you. So labor should not be serving to their hands. We should be very effective and very meticulous with the way we are going about demand for increase in the minimum wage. So this must be done. If we don't do this thing, we'll be seen as a laughing stock by government.
All right, let's quickly move to this one. Organ donation. Federal government sets to launch policy guidelines is a headline from the nation. The federal government is set to launch national policies and guidelines on organ transplants following reports of unethical practices in organ donation and transplantation in the country. This is as the Transplant Association of Nigeria has urged the federal government to address organ transplant tourism by investing in the local subsector.
Now, the last is yet to hear about the former Deputy Senate President about this back and forth on organ transplant. And eventually, when they want a policy guidelines on this now, what comes to your mind, Razak?
We are very far away from development, from world level development. It's so unfortunate that at this point, Nigeria does not have a clear-cut rule and regulations, a clear-cut act that will guide these organ donations and all that. And that's the reason a very revered former Deputy Senate President is serving the data abroad. And that's the reason this has been happening in Nigeria unchecked. And that's the reason a lot of things, issues, are surrounding the issue of organ affairs. I think it is better late than never. What they want to do now, I hope they're going to do due diligence and consider a whole lot of things. Because even in law, there are what we call expert opinions. We must not just make law for the fact that I'm a member of National Assembly or I'm a member of State Assembly and I don't know anything about lawmaking. I don't know anything about that issue in question. They don't just dabble into that issue. They need to get those that are involved. Who are those that are involved? I'm talking about medical professionals who will guide them about how this should be done and how it's being done abroad, how it's being done internationally. So this must be considered, must be totally considered. Not that because I'm a senator and I'm the chairman of the House Committee or Senate Committee on Health and I know it all. No, they need to get those that are involved because they are talking about health matters now. They need health professionals. They need medical professionals to tell them the way to go, not just sitting in Abuja or sitting in Okimoso and be doing things that are not acceptable.
So that means it's not the right thing if one person offers and another person accepts, to donate.
No. There are things, that are issues, that are rules that guide the organs donation. And of course, if you are to go by that rule, you must try to do it in accordance with international standard. And that is what our revered former Deputy Senate President did not do. And of course, he's serving a J term abroad now. So what I am saying is that due diligence must be done in such a way that they must do it in accordance with international standard. And how are they going to achieve that? Is by inviting and trying to respect the opinion given by experts, not just a senator, not just a speaker, not just a ordinary house member, and now telling them that I know it all. No, there must be what we call town hall meeting on this for the people to contribute, and at the same time for professionals to also contribute, so that we are going to do it in accordance with national standard.
Let us open the phone lines this lovely morning. 08034379453 and 0815-032-0226. Please, if you want to contribute, please ensure that you just stick to the time. Let's say 50 seconds or less than a minute. Would sincerely appreciate this lovely morning. 08034379453. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
I will call you from Michigan. Now, talking about minimum wage, and I think what is fundamentally wrong with the issue of wages and salaries in this country, we have not really tackled the fundamental problem. I believe that the fundamental problem is the income disparity, the huge disparity in income according to people in this country. As long as we have people who are working hard and earning 30,000 naira a month or whatever they want to offer now, 40,000, whatever, compared to people who are earning humongous salaries, are they more productive than the people who are working at the bottom of the ladder? And that is why labor will continue to ask for minimum, and there's nothing we offer them that can be commercial, that can be known. How are you saying that the government does not have money to pay the salary? I don't believe in that either.
Okay.
That the government does not have money. How do we make sure that we bring down those who are at the top, bring the salary down to a level that be no struggle, no class struggle in terms of salary and the remunerations. That's number one.
Thank you very much. Because of time, sir. Because of time, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
08034379453 and 0815-032-0226. Now, Rasaq, before we take the next call, let us quickly go to the security sector this morning. Insecurity, governors must support creation of state police, and this is according to Jonah Jang. Okay, before we go to the details, hello, please, in less than 1 minute, we would appreciate.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
I still want to talk on the minimum wage. But Mr. Rasaq has said the doctor and that they will give you the right point. Let labor go back, think properly, and look at the economic situation of the country and find a reasonable level to be asked for. 600 and something is like a copy of the whole show. Even some states cannot pay 30,000. How can you say 600 and something? Labor is not yet serious. Let them sit down and think of what is realistic. Thank you very much.
Thank you sincerely for joining us. 08034379453 and 0815-032-0226. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
I joined moment I don't finish calling. Yes, that money they're asking is not feasible as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
They should come to a reasonable one and do the needful. They're talking about labor. Every other sector should be working so that it will benefit all Nigerians. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
so much.
Now, Rasaq, quickly to the world of security. The former governor of Plateau State, Senator Jonah Jang, has appealed to the 36 state governors to take a stand and support the recognition of a state police in the country. And quickly to this next one. The Nigeria Police Force NPF Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, has advised his colleagues to shun bribery. Now today, ACP Adejobi, while responding to the post on his X handle on Sunday, emphatically noted that he has never accepted bribe, stressing that it is a taboo for him as a royal prince. Security at the state level, police officers being advised not to receive bribe.
John is talking about that because it's coming from a state that has been one of the most troubled states in terms of insecurity. And in fact, we need to support them because what they are facing in Plateau, in Kaduna, in Taraba, in Gombe, in Zamfara, in fact, you cannot but be very sorry for them because those states are being threatened by insecurity every day and people are being killed on a daily basis. Of course, it's happening to us in Southwest too, but we cannot compare Southwest peace with all those states. But having said that, I think we need to call for that, and you can see that the federal government is working towards that to ensure that we have state police that will definitely be. What we are only telling them is that they should not give them to be controlled by the governor because governor will misuse them. They should be rightly under the judiciary, will oversee their operations better than presidency, better than the governor, because governor will come and go, president will come and go. But when we talk about judiciary, it's a career protection, which they will be there till they retire. So I think it has to be under that.
The police not taking bribe. ACP.
Well, I may not be able to say that because I'm not police officer. I don't know whether they are taking bribe or not. They are not taking bribe. But Wade Jobi is a friend. He does not treat the issue. There are issues that are causing police to take bribe. Are they settling the issue? Are they resolving those issues? So you shouldn't be telling us or coming to the page of newspaper or coming on air to tell us that police should not be taking bribe. What are they doing internally to ensure that the issues that are prompting them to collect bribe are resolved? What are they doing?
Are they settling the police?
So that's what I'm saying. That they need to tackle some issues that are prompting police to collect bribe. If all those issues are resolved, then the collection of bribe will be reduced or will be even.
So the bare minimum
will even be stamped out.
Okay.
All right, there's a story coming from the Punch newspaper. NDLEA declares Indian-based Nigerian couple wanted. Arrest 4 cartel members. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has declared the couple, Kazim Omoboriola Owolade and Rashidat Ayinke Owolade, wanted for running a cocaine cartel from India. So this follows the arrest of 4 members of the syndicate in Lagos. The vehicle was recovered and 2 houses traced to them were sealed for future.
Just your quick comment on that.
Thank God. I think last week or last 2 weeks, the National Assembly has passed the bill that is actually making it a law that anybody that is being caught with drugs will be executed. So I think this will reduce for anybody to go and traffic drugs or even consume it. This it's becoming unbecoming. If you look at the number of youth that are engaging in drugs now, in the next 5 years, only God save us.
But Rasaq, what comes to your mind when you see a couple in India and these people are in Nigeria working for these people and they are transporting money and more or less
they
like
told you it's a cartel, they're syndicate. So they need to really investigate more. They might have people that are working for them even outside India and Nigeria. So they are cartel and anything can happen when it's about cartel.
Rasaq Ayinla is the editor of Business Day newspaper. I must emphasize it very well. One of the good things we celebrate on
it's what we do every time. You also do. So you know what you're doing there.
Yeah, on we share our success stories.
You first of all be a journalist because you become editor. Yeah. So if you are not a journalist, you can't be editor.
Appreciation goes to the editor, Chris Ogbo, the studio manager has been Dr. Idowu, city guy Adedoyin Bangbade. It's been a MSC Shodeko production. We just want to appreciate everyone who has called in on this morning edition of Modified.
Temitope Babalola is by name. Please do have a beautiful Monday morning and we will into this brand new week. We love and appreciate your that.
And Bolaji is have a wonderful rest of your day.